James 1:5 says you should ask for the wisdom. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. This depicts the wisdom to go through trials joyfully. The wisdom to, when you're going through it, understanding, you know what? I still win in the end. It works out for me in the end. It's going to make sense in time. I feel really good, man. I feel really good. Obviously, it's Saturday. Happy Saturday. If you feeling good, man, let me know how you feel in the chat. My guy says he's feeling good. He's feeling good. I definitely feel amazing. Guys, this webinar is titled the AOTK webinar, which is just short for Ambassadors of the Kingdom. Every single Saturday, we come with a specific message, success principles, God principles. We truly believe that they are one and the same. The goal is that people would know that if you practice God's principles, you can participate in his promises. The goal is to give people life skills. The goal is to give people skills to win in business. The goal is to give people skills to become the leader that they need to become to impact the world in the way that they were meant to impact it. Can anybody get excited about that message? Type of AOTK in the chat. My guy is on the call, Mr. Dwantel. Mr. Dwantel is in the building. What's up? What's up? I see my man P. Mays is in the building. Guys, I will tell you, we're going to get into the word this morning. And I'm excited about that, man. Before I ever check for a guru, I always check for what God says. I don't know if anybody on the call feels the same way about it, but that's kind of how I like to go. So we're going to get into the word. But the first thing, guys, can someone just type focus in the chat? Can I just have somebody typing focus in the chat, right? Now, when we talk about focus, what does that really mean? Well, I think that each and every single one of you, no matter whether you're in business, no matter what product you may promote, no matter what service you may promote, no matter what organization you may be trying to build, you're going to need a focus. It's going to be extremely important that you focus. Okay, so those of you guys who don't know, you can screenshot whatever it is that I have on my screen if you need it for notes. The recording will drop later, but I'm going to be switching back and forth from the slides to really just talking to you. So when it comes to focus, all it really stands for is follow one course until successful. Most people, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why men and women fail is because of broken focus, because they can't stay fixed on one thing. Because one moment they're looking at one goal, the next moment they're looking at another goal, the next moment they're looking at another purpose. The quickest way to make a man or woman fail, the quickest way not to achieve the goal is to give them two at the same time, right? If you don't want to chase one rabbit, if you don't want to catch one rabbit, chase two at the same time, right? So the focus today is going to be giving you how to focus, the purpose of a focus, and really what you need to do to be able to capitalize on that focus. If you're watching the recording on YouTube, definitely like, helps us in the algorithm, drop a comment, subscribe, share this with somebody else. I would like to ask each and every single one of you who's watching, go ahead and take this call, send it out to somebody else. If you're on Facebook, hit the share button. If you're on IG, send it to 3 people. Okay, if you're building an organization or you have some people that you want to see grow, you have some people that you want to see go into 2023, focused on what it is that they want to accomplish and achieve, go ahead and send this out to them. My style is to be effective, not eternal. Okay, so we're going to get into this thing. And we are going to start the right way with some word. Okay, so the first thing that I want to get into, and guys, I want you not to miss the message, right? I want you not to miss the message. I'm going to take everything that I say, every scripture that I give you, every piece of word that I lay out for you, I'm going to show you how it's applicable. No matter what you're building, promoting, no matter what it is that you're trying to accomplish, I'm going to show you how it's applicable. So open your mind, open your ears, and be ready to listen, to learn. My man Nick is on the call. What's up, brother? So first things first, Philippians 3:13, it says, brethren, I count not myself to have been apprehended, but this one thing I do, keyword, this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. Guys, if you listen to what the Apostle Paul is saying, he said, the one, right? The one thing that he was focused on doing, but this one thing I do, I would submit to you that no matter what you're reaching for, a lot of the time that we don't achieve what we want to achieve is because we don't have a singular focus. Now, watch this. That doesn't mean only do one thing. Somebody says, Malachi, I can't do multiple things at once. You can, but you want to have a single intention. You want to have a single focus. You want to have a single attention on what you want to accomplish, because when you have more than one, now you're dividing your focus. Right? So one of the best things that I can tell you is when you understand your purpose, whatever that looks like for you, take the time to self-reflect, take the time to think about what you feel that you were created to do. But every decision that you make, everything that you reach to do in your life is decided by that focus. Your focus decides your action, right? Your purpose decides your decisions. So if you don't know what your purpose is, you'll do just anything. You'll sign up for anything. You'll join anything. You'll promote anything. You'll hang out with anybody. You'll consume any kind of information. You'll watch any kind of content. But when you know what you came to do and what you're here for, now the focus of what it is that you're doing is going to be completely different. Does this make sense? Type of AOTK in the chat. Okay, so that's starting with your focus. Now, getting further, I want to ask you guys a real question, because I know I'm talking to real people on the call. Anybody ever dealt with any trials on the way to what it is that they want to accomplish? Have you ever experienced maybe a level of resistance, a level of adversity? You're pushing to get to that goal. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, I love what you're saying, and this sounds all so good, but the problem that I'm having internally, Malachi, is that every time I set a goal, I never hit the goal. The last time I said I was going to do something, it didn't end up happening. I was excited to accomplish this. I was excited to go there, but I'm having a hard time buying into what it is that you're talking about, to believing in myself, because for the last year or whatever the amount of time was, it hasn't worked for me. Has anybody ever struggled with that, where you felt like every time you set a goal, most of the time you don't hit it? Has anybody ever thought about, man, the last time I set a New Year's resolution, I didn't stick with it, so why would I even try again? Why would I even push forward? All of us deal with trials, but I want to give you guys the right way to internalize the trial, okay? I want to give you guys the right way to look at the trial. This is the word I'm going to be getting into. You guys can screenshot it if you want. But I'm going to show you how to internalize and think about the trial. Jordy says every single year, right? Brandon says absolutely, okay? But James chapter 1, 2 through 3 says, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. Some of you guys are like, dude, what are you talking about? Listen to what it says. It says, count it all joy. So let me ask you something. Have you ever been through something and you look back on it and you see why you had to go through it? Guys, I've noticed this theme in my life again and again and again. I go through something, I'm like, man, I'm tripping. I'm like, dude, why is this happening? Why me? But then later on, you see that it molded you. You see that it advanced you. You see that it made you into who it is that you needed to become. Okay, it says, my brethren, count it all joy. So somebody says, what does count it all joy mean? Count is a perspective word. Count is the way that you want to look at something, right? So it's almost saying count it as joy. So it says, count it all joy, Okay. When you fall in the various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience, right? So pressure produces diamonds. So it's getting you ready for what God has ready for you. Some of us have a hard time looking at things that way, but I would encourage you to start looking at your trials maybe as something that's supposed to prepare you. Maybe it's getting you ready, right? How many of you might believe that everything you've been through has prepared you for the moment in the season that you're stepping into now? Type of AOTK in the chat. I love that perspective. I think about it all the time. Because if it's not for a purpose, then you're living in a world where the pain is for nothing. But if it is for a purpose, you can have hope, you can have confidence, you can have joy in that everything that you've been through has prepared you for this moment. It's prepared you for this season. Okay? The testing of your faith produces patience. In other words, it's getting you ready to be patient so that you can actually last through what it is that's coming next. James 1:5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. So what does that mean? That means you should ask for the patience to really understand it, right? So if you're going through something right now, how many of you, maybe you've gone through something or you're going through something and you honestly don't understand why it's happening? I think that's one of the biggest questions people have is, man, why am I going through this? I don't understand why I'm going through this. I did everything right. I did what I was supposed to do. It's still not working. It's been years. I've been waiting for a long time. I don't understand what the purpose of this challenge is. James 1:5 says you should ask for the wisdom. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. This depicts the wisdom to go through trials joyfully. The wisdom to, when you're going through it, understanding, you know what? I still win in the end. It works out for me in the end. It's going to make sense in time. Okay. I know somebody very, very successful. One of the things that he was saying from the beginning is it'll all make sense. That's the mentality that you got to have. And if you don't have that wisdom, you should ask for it. It then goes on to say in James 1:6, but let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. So people, guys, again, we talk about relating this back to business. We talk about relating this back to life. The reason why I see so many new people fail in business, when they start a new project, when they launch something new, the reason why is because they mix their doubt with their faith. They mix their doubt with their faith. It says, but let him ask in faith with no doubting. That's the hardest part. Somebody says, man, I can't doubt at all. It says, ask with no doubting. For he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. In other words, when you're asking for something in doubt, that means you don't believe it's going to happen. In other words, it's useless, right? Your efforts are useless when you're asking with doubt. So what did we just learn? Number one, it says, if you don't understand why if you're taking notes, if you don't understand why you're going through it, ask why you're going through it. Ask God. Okay, ask for that level of wisdom. Okay, it says, go through your trials with joy. In other words, while it's happening, have the joy that it's already done. I like to tell people, begin with the end in mind. And then in addition to that, it says ask, but when you ask without doubt. If you're tracking along with me, man, somebody's like, man, like there's so many words. Type of AOTK in the chat. I hope you guys are tracking with me, hoping this is all making sense. Okay, and the next thing that I love that gives me comfort, that gets me fired up, that gets me excited, and I hope somebody takes notes on this. Okay, you guys can screenshot this. This is one of my favorite parts, man. And guys, the reason why I get excited talking about this is because people, this is one of the biggest things they want to know, man, where does the confidence come from? How can I be more confident? How can I be sure? How can I be certain? Does anybody want to know where they can have unwavering confidence? Does anybody want to know how to develop unwavering certainty? Type of AOTK. Guys, this is what does it for me. It's not because I'm so good. It's not because of who I am. It's not because of what it is that I've done. Let me show you what it is for me. It's that not God will not lie, but God cannot lie. Numbers 23, okay, and 19 says, God is not a man that he shall lie. Okay, it says, God is not a man that he shall lie. This doesn't mean that he won't lie. This means he can't lie. This doesn't mean that he hasn't lied. This means that he can't lie. Faith is a system based upon the one who is faithful. So somebody says, how do I have confidence? How do I know for sure? Well, you know for sure because of what he said. So as an entrepreneur, follow me here. If somebody's getting lost in the sauce, don't miss what I'm telling you. As an entrepreneur, you can have certainty in any business principles, okay, that come from the word of God. Why? Because the Bible is really just a book of precepts, principles, practices, promises, prayers, prophecies, patterns, and parallels. I call it basic instructions before leaving earth. Okay. But if you really listen to what it is that I'm saying, again, it's about having focus. It's follow one course until successful. It's about not being double-minded. It's about knowing whatever it is that you want to accomplish. It's knowing that it's already done. In the foundation of you believing that it's going to happen is because you know what he said. It's because you know who he is. It's because you have full confidence in faith. How many of you guys can have comfort knowing that he can't lie, that it has to happen, that the word cannot come back void? Guys, that's that. I mean, I tell you, that's what does it for me. That's what gets me so excited. That's what gives me the confidence, the certainty to keep moving forward. That's what lets me know that it's worth it. Because otherwise, how are you supposed to know if it's going to happen or not? You don't. Okay. So this is where your confidence should come from. Now, again, talking faith again, Romans 10:17, and you guys can screenshot this if you want. Y'all can screenshot it if you want. Okay. And it says faith comes by hearing. Okay. Somebody says, how do I build my faith? Listen, since faith comes by hearing and hearing through the word of Christ. Have faith in the one who is faithful. Now, again, when you talk about already knowing, I want you guys to just focus with me. Don't get lost. What do you really want to accomplish? What do you really want to achieve? Just sit there for a second and think about it. Your goal may not be the next person's goal. Jordy's goal may not be Christina's goal. Christina's goal may not be Brandon's goal. Nicole's goal may not be Blaze's goal. Philip's goal may not be Chris's goal. Anthony Mitchell's goal may not be Frankie's goal. Okay. But I want you to really, really think about what it is that your goal may be. I want you to visualize it. What do you really wake up every day and grind for? What do you wake up every day and work for? And I want you to believe that it's already done. And it says faith comes by hearing, not what you heard. So you want to begin to speak your goal again and again and again. You want to begin to write your goal and make it plain. Say it over and over and over. Why? Because faith comes by hearing. So you should hear it again and again and again. What are you saying every single day? Can I submit to you that what it is that you're saying is the reason why you're not where you want to be? Some of us are sinking because of our thinking. Okay. Some of us are going through things right now and we think it's our trials. We think it's what we're going through. We think it's our life circumstances. That's the reason why we aren't where we want to be. Anybody met that person? They have a victim mentality. They say, because I'm from here, I can't accomplish this. Because I came from this kind of family, I can't accomplish this. Because I live here, I can't accomplish this. Because of what happened in my life when I was the way I came up, it's not going to happen. Guys, it's not about what you're going through. Some of us are sinking because of our thinking. Ships don't sink because they're in water. Ships sink because water gets in them. So it's not what you're going through. It's not what you're enduring. It's not what happening. It's not what is happening around you. It's what's happening inside you. Okay? The same water that boils the egg is the same water that softens the potato. So are you becoming softer by what it is that's happening? Or are you becoming hardened by what it is that's happening? It's all about a perspective. Okay? So you begin with the end in mind. I told you in the beginning to visualize what it is that you want, what you're after, what you're looking to accomplish and achieve. And you know it'll work because it already did. Follow me here. In time, ladies and gentlemen, there really only is the past and the future. There is really no present. Why? Because if I say anything, if I say something right now, well, now it's in the past. And then, ladies and gentlemen, in eternity, there is only the present. Let me say it again. In eternity, there is only the present. There is no past, present, or future. Everything in eternity is right now. That's why when God described himself, he says, I am that I am. Not I was that I was, or I will be that I will be. He says, I am that I am. So you have faith, you have confidence, you have focus because of what he said and who he is, because of who you are in him. And when you know that, ladies and gentlemen, I think if we really understood that, we would go all in. If we really understood that, we would never doubt. How would you move today? How would you work today? How would you move forward today towards your goals, towards what you want to accomplish and achieve if you knew you couldn't fail? If you knew you were going to win? If you knew that it was a guaranteed W? How would you work? Okay? That's the perspective that you want to have. Guys, and when you talk about you already won it, you guys can screenshot it here, or you can take notes. Okay. What's up, Facebook? What's up, Instagram? Okay. You already won. Does anybody believe that they already, man, I get so excited, man. I get fired up. Does anybody believe that you already won? I can recall seasons of my life. I knew at the worst possible scenario in my darkest hour, I said, I'm going to win if it's the last thing I do. And I said, you know what? It is what it is. You know what? Everything's working together for my good. You know what? It's only a matter of time before it works out for me. Romans 8:37 says, no, in all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. We are more than conquerors through him who loved us. You don't have to worry about how it's going to turn out because it's already done. You already won. Can anybody get excited about the fact that they've already won? Type of AOTK in the chat. James 1:6-7 says, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. Nothing wavering. For him that wavereth is like a wave of the sea that driven with the wind and tossed. It says, for let not that man suppose that he will receive any, oh my goodness. Okay, so that's the kicker. That's the kicker right there. It says, for let not that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. In other words, it says, if you don't ask with full confidence and with full faith, it says, for let not that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. Okay, so it says that if you're going to ask for it, you got to ask in full confidence. You got to ask in full faith. You have to know that it's already done. So again, you ask yourself, man, why am I not where I want to be? I think a lot of people aren't where they want to be because they mix their doubt with faith. And you see here what the result is of mixing your doubt with faith. It then goes on to say in verse 8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So you say you want to be a millionaire, but you're still giving minimum wage thoughts. You say you want to go to the next level, but you're still focused on the last level. You say you want to get to the next chapter, but every day you still think about your current chapter. You say that you want a new life, but you're so stuck mentally in your old life. Can I tell you that you want to start living in the future? Somebody says, Malachi, how do I live in the future, man? My life is messed up. Man, I got this going on in my relationship. My parents said this to me, this going on at work. I can't stand my job. I can't stand my boss. I can't stand my financial situation. My mental health is jacked up. Ladies and gentlemen, start living in your future. The way you start living in your future is what it is that you start saying. Stop saying that it's not working. Stop saying that it's not happening for you. Stop saying what happened to you 5 years ago. Start speaking life, right? It says life and death. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Start putting up pictures of where it is that you see yourself going. No matter where your current environment is, what you come home to every single day, start putting up pictures visually that you can see that allow you to be able to live in the future. Start changing up your location, your scenery, ladies and gentlemen. Put yourself in the environment of people that are actually going where it is that you want to go. Start spending time talking to people who are where you want to be. And I guarantee you that'll start helping you living in the future. Spend less time talking to people who represent your past and start spending more time talking, conversing with people that resonate with your future. Okay? Somebody type, I already won in the chat. Type, I already won in the chat. Okay? Type, I already won in the chat. Guys, I get excited about that because it will work. Now, somebody has another question, says, man, what you mean it will work? What are you talking about? It will work. Let me explain to you. Somebody says, Malachi, I thought it was going to work and it didn't work. So what are you talking about? Okay. They say, I thought it was going to work. I already tried it and it didn't work. So what are you talking about? Watch this. Okay. It will work. And the reason why it will work, ladies and gentlemen, is because of your perspective. So I know that if it doesn't work for me, it's going to work on me. Let me break that down. If it doesn't work for you, ladies and gentlemen, that means it's working on you. There's something you need to learn. There's something you're supposed to gain from it. There's a lesson that there's a takeaway. It's supposed to make something of you. It's supposed to change you. It's supposed to mold you. Okay? So watch this. If it doesn't work for me, then it's going to work on me. Guess what? Then the next thing that I work on is going to work for me. So if it didn't work the first time, I know it's my responsibility. I got to keep going. Why? Because there's something I need to learn. There's somebody that I need to become. There's a skill that I need to develop. There's a mentality that I need to develop. There's a certain level of wisdom I'm supposed to gain. And when you get that, what you're missing, when you get what you're supposed to have gotten from it, when you get the lesson, okay, when you extract the knowledge from it, guess what? Failure, ladies and gentlemen, is the ability to begin again with increased intelligence. I'll say it again slowly. I said failure is the ability to begin again with increased intelligence. Right? So there really are no losses, only lessons. Okay? So let me ask you this question. Again, if we just realized who we are based upon whose we are, how would you show up in the world? Where would your confidence be then? Where would your excitement towards your goals be then? If you really knew that there was no chance of failure, that you were going to win no matter what, how would you work? What's the energy that you would transfer to other people? Okay? I get excited about that. And ladies and gentlemen, lastly, I want to show you something before we wrap up. There's a story in the Bible about a blind man, and In John chapter 9, verse 3. You guys can see it here. You can screenshot it if you need it. Okay. It says, Jesus answered, neither hath this man sinned. Because watch this, right? He's like, the question is, why is he blind? Well, why is he enduring the trial? Why is he going through what it is that he's going through? Why is it that he can't see? What did he do to deserve this? Some of you have asked this question. You're going through something. You say, man, what did I do to deserve this? Some of us are comparing ourselves to other people, saying he's achieving his goals. She's achieving her goals, right? They're where they want to be. Why is this happening to me? He's moving along in life. How come I'm not moving along in life? She seems like she got everything just working for her good. Everything's working out in her favor. How come it's not working for me? This is what Jesus said about the blind man before he healed the blind man and made it that the blind man could see. This is what he said. He says, neither hath this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. So what if I told you that what you're going through, whatever you're enduring, whatever's happening to you, what if I said that you've been assigned this mountain to show others that it can be moved? What if I told you that some of the trials we experience in life are just making room for a miracle? What if I said that God's going to use you to show other people what's possible? What if I said he's going to show you, he's going to allow you to be the example for others to see that what they thought was impossible is possible? How excited would you be about that? Okay? I tell people you're most qualified to help the person that you used to be. And there is no testimony without first going through the test. But you say you want to be this impactful person. You say you want to be this person that helps other people. It's one of the most common things I talk to people every day. Man, I want to help people. I want to give back to people. I want to be able to, help myself. And then I want to go and impact the lives of other people. Well, if you want to impact the lives of other people, how do you impact people when you ain't ever been through anything? When they pass you the microphone, what do you even have to say? What do you have to talk about? What have you been through? What have you been through, okay, and then came out on the other side? Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Can anybody get excited about that? Did that register? If it registered, man, type of AOTK in the chat. Guys, again, if you're watching this for the first time, or not the first time, if you're watching the replay, like the video, drop a comment if you got some value, subscribe, share this with somebody else. Again, this call is free. It's not for a particular company. It's not for a particular product. It's not for a particular service. It's to show people that if you practice God's principles, you can participate in his promises. Okay. So that being said, I will see each and every single one of you next Saturday. I love each and every single one of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. AOTK to the moon.